you have like 200-300K followers.
It's not easy. Trust me. My Apple Watch is proof. I can actually send you a screenshot of this. I slept 5 hours 17 minutes average over last 3 years. And I'm not recommending this life to anybody.
Who were the big influencers on you as a child?
Okay. Sourav Ganguly. I was really influenced by my father. My father was all about Sourav Ganguly. So when Greg Chappell as a coach came in and he got rid of Sourav Ganguly, my father stopped watching cricket. That's when I also stopped watching cricket.
Nitin Kamath put out a post saying there are a lot of people giving unsolicited advice and opinion.
It's completely spot on. There are a lot of actors. They would come out and open up the curtains to the balcony. There would be a sea-facing view. They would take a lift where there's a massive mirror, bring a selfie where people can see their Gauche Gabbana belt. When they go downstairs, there is basically a beautiful red Ferrari. What are they doing? They are telling the vulnerable people, I was you. But look, where am I now? I can help you with that. Here is the 500 rupees link. Join me for my webinar. I'll help you become rich.
Do you think the regulation was fair?
I think it's still very loose. It needs to be hardened to filter out these people.
Fairly quickly, you decided to start your own content creation channel. Was that always innate?
Not really. So, during college times, there was a platform called Quora, and there was a question called, what is the definition of success? In that, I wrote my father's entire journey, and it became the most viral piece of content. Times of India, Hindustan Times, everybody's reaching out to me, hey, we want to interview your dad. And how do I make that happen? Because Papa's no more. That's when I decided that, okay, I'm going to write a book.
There have been a lot of labels of late on, say, Finfluencer. What label would you give yourself?
I work in a triangle. One is business, other is public policy, third is China. Anything about these three is my domain.
If a 25-year-old walked up to you today and said that they want to become a Finfluencers, what would your honest advice to them?
Now, people can call me a hypocrite because I am earning my livelihood from it, but basically the thing is that
Good morning, Jayant, and welcome to our podcast series called That One Idea. We normally do this to unravel the backstories to starting up and to de-glamorize entrepreneurship. And on that note, a very warm welcome to you this morning.
Thank you so much, Anjali. It's lovely being here with you guys. And yeah, it's an amazing office that you're part.
Thank you so much, Jayant. Jayant, you're somebody who's helped me a lot, and you've also had Waterbridge a lot with the way we drive our content strategy. But today it's going to be all about you and your backstory to starting up. So I want to take you all the way back to your childhood influences. Tell us about who you are, where you grew up, and who were the big influencers on you as a child.
Okay. So see, I'm a Rajasthani guy.
Yeah.
You must have heard of that Bikaner bhujia, right?
Yes.
So right next to Bikaner, there's a place called Sridungargarh. I natively come from there, but I've never really lived there. During the British times, my father's side of the family moved to West Bengal, Siliguri, Chicken Neck. So I was also born there, lived the initial few years there. We moved to a place called Hanumangarh in Rajasthan, where my father tried a business, did not really work out. So he then moved on to the broader shoe industry, and in NCR. Later, we also came in. So that is where I spent much of my years. And till date, I am in the NCR region, living in Faridabad. And I went on to do my college in Gwalior for about 5 years. But otherwise, NCR is the home base for me now. So a Rajasthani guy, born in Siliguri, West Bengal, but all about Delhi NCR. That's what I am. And been very fortunate that people say a lot of things about North India, right? That, okay, pollution is a problem and everything is a problem. But somehow it's an amazing place, a place of really good people.
And were you an avid reader from the very beginning? Were you drawn to books, drawn to the newspaper?
I wasn't really avid reader. So basically, you just asked me, right? Who
were
the people? So there were only two influences in my life. One is Sourav Ganguly. And that is basically because I was really influenced by my father all the time. And being a Siliguri person, right? My father was all about Sourav Ganguly. So when Greg Chappell as a coach came in and he got rid of Sourav Ganguly, my father stopped watching cricket.
Wow.
And that's when I also stopped watching cricket. After that, I only started watching cricket maybe about 3 or 4 years ago because of RCB, Virat Kohli, etc. Otherwise, I would never watch it. And even today, I just watch India-Pakistan matches. So likewise, my father was voracious reader, great writer, and he would read this way, right? So entire Shakespeare's ballads he had learned by heart. So he would read like this. Et tu brute. So he was that kind of person.
So you had theatre at home growing up.
So a different kind of a theatre, but basically he was a very, very well-read person and he wrote very well. And also very much into reading newspaper. So every morning at 6:30 a.m., it would be sort of a competition that, okay, who wakes up first and grabs the newspaper, because the one who wakes up first gets the main newspaper. The other person will have to first read Daily Times, which is all about entertainment, drama, etc., page three stuff. Nobody really likes that. So that is how basically I got into some bit of reading the news and stuff, but it was always about competing with Papa. But finally, after I lost my father in 2014, I went to college. About 1.5 months after that, that's when basically, I had too much time and I had to occupy it somehow. Otherwise, I would be, thinking only about Papa, missing him, etc. So to occupy myself, I began to read a lot of stuff. And I did not know that it would become such a passionate long-term thing that would someday, in a way, feed my family. But yeah, I've been very fortunate that way. In a way, my father guided me into reading. And it's been that influence.
And I was going to ask you exactly that. You started really early. So 2019, you graduated. You did a bunch of roles. And let's say you paid your dues to the startup economy. You were at Bain as well. But fairly quickly, you decided to start your own content creation channels, right? Was that always innate, like you knew that right in college, or that's something that grew on you as you started to work and get influenced maybe by the startup ecosystem around you?
Not really. So during college times, there was a platform called Quora. I think it's still active. Hardly anybody uses it, right? But back then, I began to write about my father and my daily life experiences on Quora. So I grew some following there. And there was a question called, what is the definition of success? It is still there. In that, I wrote my father's entire journey. And it became the most viral piece of content. In fact, it remains one of the most viral pieces of content I've ever created. So after that, Times of India, Hindustan Times, everybody's reaching out to me. Hey, we want to interview your dad. And how do I make that happen? Because Papa's no more. So that's when I decided that, okay, I'm going to write a book. So this is all that content, all the content that I practically did. And then after my job began in 2019, I stopped it all. Because I no longer had time. I was already doing 2 jobs in parallel. So moonlighting was not really allowed back then, but during my first job at the Smart Cube in Noida, which is a KPO firm, then at Bain, which is a consulting major, I was working at their capability unit in Gurgaon in the CPG team. Even at that time, I was doing a parallel gig job because money was a bit tight of the situation, and I wanted to accumulate as much as possible. So that is what the kind of content I was doing, because in that gig job was basically about writing for a publication. So every morning, write 2 hours for the publication and then go for the job. That is the content I was doing. So it was later on, I made a switch to the startup world, joined Classplus, learned a lot there. Mukul and Bhaswar, the 2 founders, they changed my life entirely. And they had just acquired a company called testbook.com out of Mumbai. And the founders, Ashu and Naru, come in. Ashutosh and Narendra, they come in. They meet us people. I was so inspired by their entire story. I was like, man, I need to leave my job. These people come from way worse a background, and yet they had the guts to say that, you know what, we are going to build something. What am I doing out here? So that's when I basically took a call, and luckily because of those gig jobs and entire thing, I had accumulated a runway for about 3.5, 4 years. So that gave some more confidence, and I left my job. After I left my job, I did not know what to do, because most people figure out what are they going to do, and then they basically leave the job. In my case, it was very different. So Mukul gave me a very good tip that most of the people who have left Classplus, where I was working, to do something of their own, they end up not doing something of their own. They eventually give up and join some other firm or join back Classplus. And the only reason is, people have this habit of trying to find a white space or something that they can disrupt or something that is a big opportunity, then we'll build for it. Mukul was very clear. For that, what ends up happening is you decide that these are the things that I need to learn first. So you spend the next 6 months, 8 months, 9 months learning something. By that time, your runway is coming down, responsibilities are only growing. More importantly, motivation keeps coming down because you're yet to monetize or build something actually. So most people tend to give up. His tip was, most people are good at something. Just 2-3 things. Identify what those 2-3 things are. And then figure out what you can do with that. As simple as that. No need to learn something new. That will happen on the go. That was the biggest learning that I could have gotten. I decided that I'm only good at 3 things: writing, research, and stock markets. Let's combine the 3. And the playbook was that I'm going to build a content offering which is going to target India's classes or decision makers. And I'd done a guesstimate as per which these people are hardly 2.8 to 3 lakh people. And the definition is very simple. people who make decisions for minimum 5 people. Okay. Those are the decision makers of India. And I realized that, okay, this is the people, if I can just crack 4 or 5 of them or convince them that, okay, with my 3 skills, I can solve something for them. I can create some value for them. I just need 4 or 5 of them, to pay me 20-25 lakhs a year, and I would be pretty sorry. That was the whole thought. Yeah. Luckily, it turned out much better. So the playbook was very simple. This entire thesis, I combined it with what I call the Haldiram formula. Yeah. So it has basically 2 levers. First is come out as very different in whatever you do. Yeah. Second is do it at a very high frequency. That is, be very different at a very high frequency. The idea is very clear. Every single morning at 8:30 a.m., a long form research deep dive content is going to come up to you on your LinkedIn. And this was the whole thing. And it worked out very well. Yeah. But I realized that this is not going to work. Yeah. The reason is that LinkedIn can give you reach, but not access. Yeah. That's when I realized that, okay, the reach has to be redirected somewhere. And so that's how the WhatsApp community happened. And that's how the content thing basically came up. Very nice. Very, very interesting. And today, of course, India's creator economy is, one would do a TAM exercise and be like, it's 20-30 billion plus. And you have like multiple social media channels for distribution. But as an individual, startup employee thinking of becoming a full-time content creator, did the size of that industry like dawn upon you, or did it feel very scrappy to begin? Like, was it a conscious call saying this is a large enough industry and I can have a long-term viable career in it? Or was it more first principles based, saying these are the 3 skill sets that I'm great at and confident about, and let's just motor forward? See, for me, all of these things never really made sense at that time. I did not even think about it. Yeah. For me, the thought was clear. I have to find 4 people with a lot of money. Yeah. For whom I can solve some problem of their life or create some value for them with these 3 skills, or any of these 3 skills, and they'll give me 20-25 lakhs a year, I'm sorted. That was the whole game. Yeah. I did not really give a damn about, okay, how big an industry creator is, creator ecosystem is, how much people make a post, when they do a collab post or a brand post, a paid post, and maybe sell a course. None of those things ever mattered. That was never a concern. Even today, that's never the concern. Idea is very simple. That, okay, I needed 4 people. Luckily, I found those 4 people. Now the thought is that, okay, if there are more people, because, I'm very clear that, okay, people ask me, so where do you see yourself 5 years down the line? I have no vision at all. Yeah. I'm very clear that I'm working milestones to milestones. Okay. Back when I started my job, I started with, in hand, I used to receive something like 39,400 rupees after all taxes, cab, expenses, everything. So I was very clear. Somehow I have to reach that 1 lakh figure. Then I'll be sorted in life. Yeah. Reach that 1 lakh. I realized that, okay, no man, this is not working out anymore. Yeah. Then I got to some different figure. Small incremental goals. Yeah. Every time you hit a milestone, you endeavored for more. Yeah. But I basically realized that, okay, when you do this, right, every time you reach a particular point, right? Yeah. In a job, what happens is you see the path to the next 15%, 20%, 50%. Yeah. That path is visible. Yeah. Similarly, when you are doing a business, you probably have a path to the next 2x, 3x. I'm working for that. So where I was 2 years back, right? Yeah. I could see the path to double from there. Yeah. That is the only thing I was solving for. And take us to a little bit about your content distribution strategy. And obviously you said you started off small and you had these small micro goals, if I may, that you kept working towards. But as you kept scaling and getting a larger audience, I have 2 questions really. One is that whole audience segmentation. How did you kind of identify who your core audience were? Where, as you mentioned earlier, where you were finding that engagement and not just like distribution reach, but you're finding engagement, right, with your audience. And today you straddle across multiple. You have a WhatsApp community, you're on Instagram, you have a couple of YouTube channels, you have a channel of your own, you have a collaboration. How did you really decide how to segment that audience and kind of still keep it unique for every audience segment that came into each of these communities and social media channels you've built? So think of it this way, right? I was very clear, my audience is decision makers of India. Yeah. If you're a decision maker, you're bound to be a busy person. Yeah. If you're busy, you are not somebody who's consuming a lot of content. But whenever you're spending time on any content, you want to actually find something good in it. Yeah. If it's entertainment that you're seeing, it should be really entertaining stuff. It should be not be, Varun Dhawan ka hero number one. It should be Govinda ka hero number one.
Yeah.
It should be that simple, right? At the same time, if you are actually looking for value, then it should be solid value. I don't want to know about everything. Whatever I'm getting to know, it should be very. So, plus these are people who already, if they are making decisions for other people, they have to be aware about what's happening. So my clear thought was, these are people who probably find time to consume content in three brackets, either when they're going to the office or work, or during the lunch breaks, or after work. So there are only 3 to 4 such pockets where they are going to consume my content. Number one. So I was drawing a persona. This is one of those elements. Second element was they're already well read. When going to the office, they probably already read the news. They open the Economic Times app. Or maybe the driver is driving and they are reading the newspaper. They're aware what's happening. So I cannot be telling them that
already the papers.
So most people, what they do is they take up a content piece, make a solid summary piece out of it, and then put a great hook that Adani is going to kill a mine, petrochemicals, etc. And it works great, but for the masses of India. For these people, it won't really work. Because they are well-read people. My job is to add either value on top of it or surprise with these people with a perspective on top of what they already know, or challenge them in what they know. So that is a minimum bar that I have to make with every single piece of content that goes out. So that was another very clear filtration process that, okay, this is how my content has to come out. Third thing was, I have to do it at a very high frequency. Why? LinkedIn, every day one post is sufficient. But because I'm redirecting people from LinkedIn to WhatsApp, WhatsApp is something that Anjali is going to open maybe 20, 40, 50 times a day. Now, every time she opens, because you are a decision maker of India, you're a busy person, and if you're making decisions for 5 people, minimum, you're going to get an inbound interaction from at least 50 people in your messages. The result is, if I put out a message for you, a content piece for you on your WhatsApp in the morning, just 2 hours later, I'm going to be out, maximum 2 hours later, I'm going to be out of the top 5 to 6 chats. There is a very high likelihood that you're never going to see that. So the idea was, we have to put out 5, 6 different pieces of content across those different time zones, where again and again, after my name goes down in your chat, it goes up again. And there is a high probability that at least once or twice in a day, Anjali is going to see my name. So as I said, do very different kind of content, but at a very high frequency. The very high frequency basically comes out here. That every single day, Anjali should be, building a habit, even if not deliberately, that I've not seen Jayant's name for a few days. It should come to if I'm not putting out content for a few days. That was the whole thought. So that was the whole strategy. And other thing was that I was very clear. So everybody would tell me, do shorter form content. I was very clear, no. When I'm putting out stuff on LinkedIn, I'm going to deliberately go for longer form content. Even today, my deep dives on LinkedIn, they reach 3,000 characters, which is the ultimate limit on LinkedIn for a post. The reason was very clear. It helps as long as I'm not extending the length of a post just for the sake of it. I'm actually packing it with a high density, high insights density, right? It's practically something that is filtering out the, not that high quality audience. We're looking for, shorter stuff, drama stuff, or just in shorts kind of stuff. In shorts is doing a great job, but not my audience. So the content was designed to be long, detailed, high density, etc. by that particular format. Likewise, for example, I would use terms not deliberately, but if I'm doing a content on, say, Paytm using optionally convertible debentures. Now, most people would never do content on it. Why? Because their audience would not get what is a debenture. Forget convertible. Convertible is a car for them. And then optional. Right? So that is a great, but for me and my audience, that makes for a brilliant content piece. Right? So in my content, I can actually talk about that. Or I can talk about how Mr. Adani refinanced $3.2 billion of loans, etc. Now, that is not a content for a lot of people. For me, it actually is a great content piece. That is the whole strategy. So, as I said, know your audience, draw a persona, when do they consume their content, what kind of content will help me, filter out other people and specifically focus on these people to draw engagement from these people. So, it's possible that, okay, you go for the masses, you can be writing a lot more posts which get, 5,000 likes, 10,000 likes, etc. But my time is a small one. I'm very aware of that, but it's a very powerful set of people, or a very high quality set of people that I'm targeting. and only thing that I track is I go and clicks on the likes button, and I see who are the people who are liking my post, who are the people who are commenting on my post. That is where I draw my happiness from, my motivation from.
Fantastic. You spoke about content. I want to also ask you your strategy on channels and distribution, right? Interesting thing you said, and maybe the platforms won't like this, is that your content is consistent no matter what channel you're on, right? Your Instagram content or your YouTube shorts content, etc. A lot of people tend to believe that the audiences on each of these platforms are very different. But you're straight to your content, long form content, as well as, like you say, deep research on markets and something that they won't find anywhere else, right? And definitely not in the headlines of the newspaper. So what is your point of view on going deep in a particular channel versus having a multi-channel strategy? And fundamentally, do you agree that audiences also segment basis platform? Like your Instagram audience is different from your LinkedIn versus YouTube audience.
So see, on this part, I have a very clear view that same insights but different content. That's the key. I'm not putting out, same content everywhere, but the insights are the same.
Instagram clearly, it's a video.
It's not about that. It's not about that. Think of it this way, right? So the delivery has to change. Because the way LinkedIn is consumed, or Instagram is consumed, or YouTube Shorts is consumed, or YouTube long form is consumed, is very, very different. It's not about who is consuming it. It's rather about how it is consumed. So, for example, if I'm putting out a post on LinkedIn, I'm going to talk about how, अगर आपके घर में चूहे घुस गए हैं तो आप ये 4 चीजें कर सकते हो, वो चले जाएंगे, आपको शांति मिलेगी. This is going to probably work on LinkedIn because I've created some value. But after somebody is done with work and everything, right, when they want a break, that is when they come to Instagram. They don't want value. What they want is either entertainment or curiosity. So you have to wire the same insight that I was valuing on LinkedIn into either entertainment or curiosity. So now what I'm going to do is on Instagram, same insight, right? Deliver it how? यार मेरे घर में चूहे घुस गए थे. Finally 4 चीजें करी, तब जाके हो गए. Now people want to know कि क्या 4 चीजें करी, right? So every platform has a language. You have to crack that. Offer the same insight, but in a different way. So very interesting. On one platform, I'm going to say, I was studying Ola and I saw this. And here I'm going to say, man, I was studying Ola and the language changes. So it's all about language, and then any platform can be cracked. So I think there've been a lot of labels of late on, say, Finfluencer. I always struggle to pronounce it. And what label would you give yourself? I know you focus on finance, markets, deep research, data-backed opinions. So there's a fine line between sensationalizing, and we know that the algorithm values opinions and sensationalism, and staying true to like what you're putting out in terms of the either the quality of content, in terms of the educational value it has, or like you articulated better, saying the curiosity value that it has. But as an individual content creator, how do you self-regulate editorial matters? So see, I have a very clear framework. Some people call me a content creator, somebody call me an influencer, somebody call me a content, influencer. I am very clear that I work in a triangle. So one is business, other is public policy, third is China. Anything about these 3 is my domain. And inside of that, there is a core functionality, which basically is I'm only going to talk about stuff that other people are not talking about. So as long as it's this triangle and this functionality is being met, it's my content. Now, there are days when I get labeled this side or that side, or anyways, so I have this joke, right? Every single day I'm putting out stuff. Right? So far I've put out maybe like 310 odd videos, 300 videos on Instagram. If I talk good about somebody, people come and say, "Kaise aa gaye?" Or as they call these is paneer post, कि आज तो घर में पनीर बनेगा. And if I write bad about somebody, right? If I have a critical opinion of something, then I go, आज किसने पैसे दिए? And I'm like, if I'm really making that much money, I need to have a defender. I need a Land Rover for myself. But no, and that's basically a joke. But point is very clear that there's a triangle of content that I basically look into, and very clear on what I'm all about, which is talking about stuff that other people are not talking about. Now, everybody has a different content strategy. the content strategy is often determined by what is the end goal. So, for example, for me, the end goal is what? We have this content. I'm trying to push my 3 skills to the people and see if somebody would want to probably reach out to me and say, hey, can you do this for me or that for me? That is my fun. For some other person, it might be that, hey, I'm putting out this stuff via which I can help you invest better, generate better returns. So join my WhatsApp community. That's a very different deal. For some other person, it is going to be, if you want to learn more about this thing, right? I have a YouTube video which is a much longer form. So for them, short form video creates the audience for the long form, which helps them generate significant YouTube money or ad money. So that is it. So everybody has a different playbook, and it's very easy to put everybody in the same basket that everybody is a content creator, everybody is an influencer. But I believe that there are very distinct set of people. There are some people who are deliberately doing a lot of shady stuff because they know that they can make quick money out of this. There are people who know that they want to build it long term. And so, for example, I'm very clear. It's not me being overconfident or pompous, but that's this self belief that I am going to be massive in the days to come. And I don't know in what way. Maybe in terms of money, maybe in terms of power, maybe in some other way, but I'm going to be massive. If I'm going to be massive, I don't want to put out any content or any course, any webinar, seminar, etc., which is going to someday come back to me and say that, you know what, you also sold this, or you also talked about this, etc. So it's not about whether you're an influencer or something. It's more about what do you stand for, what's your end game, what are you playing for.
So irrespective of the labels, I think yesterday Nitin Kamath put out a post saying, especially on the Finfluencer economy specifically, saying there's a lot of I think called the nuisance of unregistered advisory, and there are a lot of people today coming onto social media channels and giving unsolicited advice and opinion on, again, business, finance, and more importantly, stock advice. As this segment in space evolves, and we know financial literacy is a big issue in India, where do you think the regulatory lines need to be drawn on this? And also a follow-on question really is, do we only point finger and focus on the person creating the content, or should we also focus on the platforms and the opacity of their algorithms that are amplifying that content?
I think everything really matters. So what Nitin has basically said, and he has been saying this for a long time, and not just a lot of people have been saying this, right? It's completely spot on, because there are a lot of actors out there who are doing really bad stuff. They are ripping off people. So see, think of it this way, right? Who are the people who end up buying courses, webinars, etc. from most of these finance influencers who are unregistered? Who are the people? It's basically your auto rickshaw guy, your hard laborer, or somebody who works at a restaurant. It's basically that category. These are the most vulnerable set of people. Who are the people who are doing all of this F&O trading, or even Dream 11 and all of those fantasy gaming? Who are the people? It's basically these people are the kids mostly, right? And these are the easiest to scam. So that is what people do. What do people do? They would come out and open up the curtains to the balcony. There would be a sea-facing view. They would take a lift where there's a massive mirror, and they'll be doing a selfie where people can see their Dolce & Gabbana belt. And when they go downstairs, there is basically a beautiful red Ferrari in which they're getting, or a Mercedes or a BMW.
They're getting for convertible.
Now, what are they doing? They are telling the vulnerable people that, okay, you know what? I was you, but look where am I now? All because of the amazing F&O outcomes that I've achieved. I can help you with that. Here is the 500 rupees link. Join me for my webinar, or join my WhatsApp community, join my Telegram community. I'll help you become rich. My simple question is, who is this person who has all of this, and he somehow wants to tell you that, okay, by buying a 500 rupees course, you are going to become this? It's probably not possible. But these people target the vulnerable people. And that's the biggest loss of this country is. These people then do what? They move outside, or they make their wealth. And they know that. So the thing in creator economy is that for 95 out of 100 creators, irrespective of whatever domain you are in, right? You are in here for just 3 years, maximum. 90% of the people who get into content creation is just because of the reason why they see Anjali and they are like, Anjali is making so much money. She charges 3 lakh rupees a reel. She charges 1 lakh rupees a LinkedIn post. I should be doing this.
Yeah.
I'm a lunatic, I'm doing this. They get it, then they basically realize what? That, okay, I don't really enjoy making content. This is really exhausting. I'm hitting writer's block or creativity block. What do you do then? But you know that, okay, so far I've managed to grow 25,000 followers, 50,000, a lakh followers. Brand deals are coming in. So what do? They know, these people know that they are not here for the long term. They're not going to sustain this. So make as much money as possible as fast. So then they do what? Sell whatever possible. Today, you are basically doing a collab post with a real estate giant. Tomorrow, you're basically selling some, crypto platform.
Yeah.
Then next day, you are selling, something that is very shady.
Yeah.
Fourth day, you are promoting some new age loan app that nobody knows who really owns. Fifth day, you announce that, okay, I'm also launching a course on, how to invest in the markets. Right? That is a new hot thing. Sixth day, 6 month, you're like, I'm also doing this, offline cohort. So if you pay 30,000, I'll welcome you to a Grand Hyatt in Delhi, and we will do 8 hours of this. There'll be great lunch, etc. That's what these people are about. Amass as much as possible, as quick as possible, and then end the game. But these are the people who really need a crackdown. Nitin Kamath, what he says, it's really needed to filter out system.
Regulation was fair.
I think it's still very loose. It needs to be hardened to filter out these people. Because SEBI, particularly, the markets regulator, has done a fab job in, picking up some of these bad actors and making an example of them. But still, tens of thousands of these unscrupulous, greedy, I can go on with search words, but basically these people, they continue to go on unabated. It's all happening in the open. Everybody knows these names. They're big time YouTubers, big time Instagram people. They run Telegram channels which have maybe like 40,000, 50,000 people. These are the people who still operate freely. How is that possible? That's because nobody's cracking down on the platforms probably. Because it's not possible for SEBI to ensure that, okay, they can keep track of every 10 new people.
It is an open platform. Right? Anybody can log in and start a channel today. So how do you make sure that over-regulation doesn't legitimately silence the genuinely good voices?
Absolutely. So the answer is regulations have to focus on the platforms to regulate that, okay, in the end, anybody can make a video. But if they have to sell something, they'll go to some platform, right? Unless they're doing completely offline thing, in which case they cannot really scale much. But otherwise, if they're doing something via any platform, just regulate the platforms. I'm not saying shut down or ban, but regulate. That's much, much, much needed.
And speaking about these platforms and the opacity of the algorithms, how hard is that going to be to unravel, given just the size of these platforms, and also that many of these platforms, the algos rewards drama, it rewards urgency, it rewards sensationalizing. So how do you really bring about that balance, especially as a regulator in a very, very young, fragile, largely financially literate market?
So see, I'm very clear that regulation is a catch-up game. When something is growing very fast,
it's reactive.
Then the regulators will come in and say that, okay, we need to put in some guardrails. Right? Now, it's about ensuring that, okay, you're putting in the guardrails first to ensure that all the unscrupulous people, the bad people, the bar goes higher for them to, comply or to operate. So keep making it harder for those people. You're going to keep on noticing newer patterns emerge because these are also very smart people. So as people try to outsmart the system needs to catch up. It's always going to be a catch-up game. But as you keep on doing it, it's only going to get harder and harder and harder for people to do it. And that's what is really needed. Make it really difficult for those people to, keep on running this machine.
Awesome. So if I take you back to where traditional media is today, let's say, how do you think some of these lines between traditional journalism and new age media will start blurring? And journalism, of course, has regulation. Television is licensed. There are editorial teams, there are legal teams, there are fact checking teams. How will this work in what is increasingly becoming a more new age media creator led world?
I don't want to offend anybody by saying this, but I think the lines have already, sort of blurred. There are a lot of, newsroom folks who have turned to content creation.
Absolutely, actually,
And some very good examples as well. Sonia Shenoy. And I don't remember the name, the CNBC TV 18 journalist who does a lot of content on health. So there are a lot of such people. So they are turning to content. Anuj Singhal of CNBC TV 18.
Yeah.
He does amazing content, right?
Yeah.
So there are a lot of these people who are turning to content. At the same time, people from the content space are becoming more and more of disseminators of the news.
Yeah.
So the lines are completely blurred. Number one. Number two, the biggest problem is two fronts. The distribution pattern is changing.
Yeah.
Earlier, it was about there are so many TV screens, people are glued to them and consuming out there. Now people are consuming a lot of content on smaller screen as well. And the platform that they spend most amount of time on is probably WhatsApp or Instagram or YouTube. Those are not news channel friendly channels.
Yeah.
So what happens is newer actors are coming in.
Yeah.
Who are distributing content better on these platforms at much lower cost. Because the cost of servicing this is much lower.
Yeah.
A very large section of people are entering this market every day. So for example, I am one person. There are so many others who are entering the market every single day. And if 100 people are entering, 10 of them are going to find some acceptance.
Yeah.
Maybe for a micro audience, maybe for a larger one.
Yeah.
It's already happening. Now, the key concern is, why is it?
Yeah.
What is the bigger arching figure, the theme? It is that there is a growing perception that media is sold. So people turn out to people who are influencers, independent creators. But what they don't realize is much of this ecosystem is also very actively bought out.
Yeah.
There are serious agencies out there whose only job is to control the narrative.
Yeah.
How do they do it? They keep a lot of these influencers on the payrolls.
Yeah.
They pay very, very handsome. I receive briefs every single day, so I know the numbers that the people are ready to offer me. It's a very handsome number, right? There are people. I mean, so I'll give you one example, right? There is a very famous creator. I can't take a name out here, but he has openly said it on a podcast that it makes no sense that a doctor who does an open heart surgery earns 7 lakh rupees a month, and here I am, who is being offered to speak for a political party for 14 lakhs. For just one post. It's an insane amount of money. Not everybody gets paid 14 lakh rupees, but why is this guy being paid 14 lakhs for a post?
Yeah.
Because this is the new media, which is the new tool of narrative control.
Yeah.
And this is a very active industry. The masses don't really get it. For them, the polarization is such that either people believe that okay, this side is right or that side right. So an influencer who says so is a hero. An influencer who says otherwise is a zero. So that is where we are right now. So it's a very, very rapidly evolving ecosystem.
Yeah.
It's not just the influencer out there, but who is paying who is not paying who is receiving payments from who. This is where that people are taking sides. And this is not just politics, but also business. Every business has got every big business has got a lot of influencers on the payrolls.
Yeah.
People don't get to see that. Why? The payments are outed. So I'll give you an example. So there is a big agency out of Mumbai which basically handles PR for a particular company. Now it has an Ahmedabad-based agency that is handling these things for them.
Yeah.
Then there is another agency based out of Indore to which things are outsourced. Now it's that Indore thing which is actually hiring the influencers, but who is going to match the trade? What also happens is so for example, I'm a company, right? What I'll do is, I have a big agency on my payrolls on an annual basis. I pay them say 300 crores.
Yeah.
Now, via them, I can pay anybody, but I've only paid to publicists or ad factors or Value 360 or Concept, etc. These names, right? You never know who are they paying to get hired who.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very murky industry. A lot of things happen.
Yeah.
People just don't get it.
And if I can, steer this conversation into exactly the territory of making, therefore, the creator economy a viable career option, right? You, like we discussed, pretty much kind of knew this early on. Since college, you've been creating content. But to be completely honest, and tell us if a 25-year-old walked up to you today and said that they want to become let's say a Finfluencer, since we're overusing that word today, what would your honest advice to them be?
I think
from a viability of a career option.
I think it is not as viable as people think it is. I'll give you a reason why. Now, people can call me a hypocrite because I am earning my livelihood from it. But basically, the thing is that, as I said, right, most people get into content creation these days because of they see other people making a lot of money out of it. But the problem is most people can't sustain it. I have been doing content for so long and I put out so many posts across different mediums every single day. The only reason is I enjoy it so much. Right? But I don't enjoy coding.
Yeah.
Right? There is somebody who codes like crazy. Doesn't mean that they're going to enjoy what I'm doing. Most people don't realize this, but it becomes very difficult for people to sustain after a month, 2 months, or 3 months of content creation. So what happens is, I can guarantee on this one, ask any agency or anybody. Most of the people who get into content creation, right, within 3 months they leave.
Yeah. Retention, longevity is a real problem.
Absolutely, because they realize that okay, this is not about making easy money.
Yeah.
It's more about you can't come up with ideas to sustain. More importantly, if you are not really coming up with newer ideas to sustain, you're practically competing with thousands of people who are getting into this very arena every single day.
Yeah.
How do you stand out?
Yeah.
It's very difficult. So 90% of the people are leaving within first 3 months.
Yeah.
10% remain. Of that 10%, what happens is you're going to sustain for next 3 years, then you're probably going to be relevant.
Yeah.
The problem is most people don't sustain after 3 years. In that time, what happens is you run out of ideas, or you manage to do enough content, but you're not really enjoying it. So 3 years is a long enough time where you get exhausted somewhere in between and then you give up.
You've also de-glamorized it previously, right? Speaking about how hard it has been just in terms of sheer number of hours that you spend creating this content. And I remember you telling us that you had less than, I think, 17 Saturdays and 20 Sundays off in the last 5 years. So you have told us the backstory of it might look all glamorous from the outside and that you have 200-300K followers, but in reality, it is a lot of sweat, blood, and tears and long hours to get these ideas and thoughts and a long form post every day at 8:30 a.m.
I mean, it's very simple, right? To sustain in any walk of life.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Most people just see the outcomes.
Yeah.
And so take any founder, for example.
Yeah.
Forget creators, right? A lot of people, decide that I'm going to build something of mine. I'm going to become a founder. How many people actually are still doing that 2 years later?
Yeah.
You know the answer, right?
Yeah.
Why? It's easy to say that you're going to build something of your own. It's a lot tougher to leave your job for it. It's an even lot tougher to be at it a year down, because a lot of realities of life kick in. And another year down, most people give up for multitude of other reasons.
Yeah.
How many people remain on course 2 years later? We all know the answer is not that lovely one. So same goes out here. When Bhuvan BBK Vines, he's everywhere today. He's coming in a Karan Johar movie. He's producing his own show, which was bought by Hotstar, Jio Hotstar. He's doing an amazing job, right? When he went viral, there were so many other names which are also going viral. How many of those are still around? How many of those still get the same cult following?
Yeah.
It's hardly a few. They also created good content. They did manage to get a lot of traction, but the problem is they could not sustain.
Yeah. Yeah.
More importantly, beyond a particular point of time, right? You need to pivot. I'll give you an example. I started with LinkedIn, then added the blend of WhatsApp to it.
Yeah.
Then I was like, you know what? I should also be building IPs because, something different that's going to make me very differentiated from other people. That's where I started building a newsletter called Decoding the Dragon. It found a good lot of traction. I said, you know what? I can be the biggest newsletter builder of India. So I built another newsletter called Bharatnama. It got great traction. Amazing. And in this course, I find Kushal Lodha, who is a great finance creator from Mumbai. He shows me the part 2 video creation. That, okay, this is how I should be doing it. I get into that. That also happens. Now, I'm also building a YouTube channel with Grow.
Yeah.
Point is, with all of these, right, I'm diversifying a bit, I'm pivoting a bit.
Yeah.
I'm trying to differentiate myself from everything that I have myself been, not other people. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Trust me. Anything else, but it's not easy. Just does it pay very well? Very handsomely.
Yeah.
But that's paying me so well after I've built all of these things over the last 3 years. My Apple Watch is proof. I can actually send you a screenshot of this one if you want to put it out there, but I slept 5 hours, 17 minutes.
Yeah.
Average over the last 3 years. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Trust me. And I'm not recommending this life to anybody. I've paid a hell toll on that one. I was 96 kgs last January. I've finally found a good coach from Fitter. JC is amazing guy, who is the founder of Fitter. He gave me a good coach and he got me to 78. So all blessings to him. The point is, this has had a price to pay. It's not that easy.
Of course. Nothing is a straight line, as we say. And you touched upon monetization. So I want to talk a little bit about, what is really the monetization playbook? Because as you said, brand deals have predominantly been the route forward. A lot of creators, for lack of other options, succumb to it. And then, like we said, the bar is really low on what type of brands you're choosing to endorse. But given that this is, as we discussed, really hard to sustain in the long term, you've been super clear and very transparent actually about the way you monetize your different platforms, right? How do you resist the urge to not take up like large brand monetizations and like almost be like true to form in terms of a large part of your content will remain organic and will remain, as you say, education first and curiosity first and not sensationalized.
So I'll tell you what, right? You're fine with things that you've sustained for long.
Yeah.
For example, for initial 2.5 years of my content creation journey, I've been receiving, paid collaboration opportunities across LinkedIn and WhatsApp community that have built 45,000 plus people, right? For last 2.5 plus years. But for initial 2.5 years of this journey, I said no to every single collaboration opportunity. I did not do a single collab. It was very good money that I said no to. What was the reason? Because my LinkedIn and WhatsApp were clearly focused on decision makers of India. I did not ever want to dilute the bar for that. Okay, he's also now like other people.
Yeah.
He's selling me 500 rupees for coupon for Make My Trip.
Yeah.
That, or he's also telling me that okay, Make My Trip, go to my biz, right? Or ports, earphones are great.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get into that business because then that dilutes my brand. It's only after that my Instagram has begun to work. That I've begun to pivot towards this one. Now, because I've said no to brand collaborations for so long and still sustained enough to, run my house with it, grow the earnings, grow the lifestyle, and do a lot of other things as well, secure myself and my family for a lot of other perspectives as well. I know how to run my house, without those things. As I told you, so content is the top of the funnel, via which I get inbound work for one of the 3 skills that I have, either writing or the research or the other thing, right? So I do ghostwriting for multiple people.
Yeah.
I do LinkedIn specific personal branding for a bunch of VCs and founders. I told you that.
Yeah.
So that runs the house.
Yeah.
I do research services for a bunch of family houses and 2 HNIs. That brings a lot of money. So that runs the house.
Yeah.
Now, when you have that money coming in, have the appetite to say no to a lot of brand collaborations. I've now begun to do brand collaborations on Instagram, right? There too, I'm very clear. I am going with the Prajakta Koli playbook. So, do you know Prajakta Koli by any chance?
Yeah.
She is amazing. She is goddess. She is living form of goddess. Please follow everybody, and I'll tell you why. So, she's very clear about the ethos which she's working. Very different genres and she basically we operate on, but she was very clear from the very start of her content creation journey when it was paying very well as well. Very clear that I don't want to work with Lakme today and this one tomorrow and third one tomorrow. If I'm going to work with somebody, it's going to be this brand for a long time. I've refined that a bit to say that okay, I'm a very well-read person. I believe that I'm a curious enough person to dig into stuff and decide that okay, this looks very shady stuff. This is going to blow up someday.
Yeah.
So when somebody comes up to me for a brand collaboration, my thesis is very simple. Every category out there, be it fans, be it stock markets, be it interior designing, be it something, in every category, choose one trusted, credible player and marry yourself to them for the next year, 2 year, 3 years. Nothing less than a year works for you. Because then you're associated with them. People should know that, okay, you're openly and don't do, these. So there is a term these days in the influencer world that what is your cost for a non-collaborating? Non-collaborating effectively means
organic, but
non-collab basically means don't disclose that as a paid one. So don't do those things. Very clear. I am in an open partnership with, Wind Wealth. When it comes to bond market investing, I actually want to promote that. I'm in a partnership with them. If it's insurance, I'm in an open partnership with this particular player. I actually want to boost the awareness about the insurance industry. So I partnered with them and then talk about it. That's the path I'm taking. Fewer players to work with.
Yeah.
But from the idea that, okay, the classes of India should know what I stand for. And from that strategy point of view, this works very beautifully.
So you spoke about how your bar is super clear that you won't do any undisclosed, non-disclosed partnerships, and all your partnerships are there for everyone to see across your channels, and they don't conflict with each other either, right? Like one will be with an insurance platform, one will be with like a stock markets platform. If I now add AI to this mix, right, and talk about how easy it has become to create content and for right or wrong reasons, even now bad content. What do you think the future will hold now in this third angle of this traditional journalism, then there's new media via influencers, and now you have like AI first, AI native media?
So I'll go by saying that AI is such a big blessing. Thank you so much, Sam Altman. So I'll tell you why, right? It has made very easy for people like me to stand up.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of AI law, which people like you and I, when we consume the content, right, we can easily decipher that.
Yeah. Suddenly these exceptionally polished English
Exactly.
and perfect phrases. Yeah.
So much. People are so, I don't know, people are so dumb,
Yeah.
right? That they are literally generating comments for every post and putting it out there, not even removing the quotes.
Yeah.
Who puts a comment of their own with a quote?
Yeah.
Quotes are there when you're quoting somebody, right? People are amazing. So what it helps with is, it has become really easier.
Yeah.
People don't realize it, but it's become very, very easy for people like me to stand up.
Yeah.
And when it's easier for you to stand out, you grow much faster. So AI is a blessing for people like me in that sense, number one. Number two is people who know how to use it. It's an amazing thing. So I only use Gemini Ultra, for example. Right?
I was going to ask you what your AI stack is.
My AI stack is 3 tools. One is Gemini Ultra. One is called Wisprflow, built by Tanay Kothari. Amazing stuff. Please do check it out. Great productivity boost. The third one is called Voice Notes. I do not know who built it, but amazing tool again. But I use basically these 3 tools. That's my entire stack. But most of the time, what I'm using is really Gemini Ultra for all sorts of research purposes. It's insane what is possible to dig into. But that is a tool which is available to all of us. I don't see a lot of people creating the content that I am creating. What is the reason? Because AI is a great tool, but you have to be a great tool operator.
Yeah.
And how can you be a great tool operator on research part or ideation part? It's basis how curious are you?
Yeah, I mean, original ideas are really hard to come by, I feel.
I mean, what questions are going to ask?
Yeah.
So, for example, let's take the present Iran war crisis, LPG shortage, right? Most people, they go to AI and basically say, how many days of reserves does India have? And then they'll be like, hey, we have only these many reserves. This is where we started in 2014. This is where we are now. We're in a bad shape, etc., etc. What I would basically do is, okay, how do we stand in these metrics against countries like Vietnam, Indonesia, Australia, etc.? It gives me more insights. Now, to do the same number crunching or research, it would have taken me maybe an hour or 2 hours earlier. Yeah. Now it's just a prompt, but you have to be curious enough. Now, when they give me answer that, okay, these are the numbers, then again, curiosity basically clicks in and I ask it further. How has these numbers changed for all of these countries over the last 20 years? Okay, it gives me further insights. Then I basically see that things don't make sense for Vietnam, what it's showing. Then I ask further questions. What did Vietnam do so wrong, or why? Are there any specific reasons why they did not go for it? Then it basically tells me that, okay, they have specific reserves of different sorts that they use, etc. Point is, are you going to ask those questions? Are you curious enough? That is where the real difference comes in. So use AI very extensively, but be very curious enough. Use it to speed up your research capabilities. Use it to remove the grind work of your life. And it's a blessing. What I'm doing today is practically 15 to 20 people team's job. I know that AI, that 24,500 rupees subscription has practically eaten so many jobs. But think of it this way. As an individual, me along with the AI subscription can do so much. It's insane.
It is crazy. It is incredible. Steering to the last segment, which is the bigger picture, as I like to call it. What do you think the Indian creator economy and the influencer space, what conversation are we desperately not having and avoiding?
I think ethics. As I said a few minutes back, right? Much of this ecosystem is being actively bought on every single day basis. And there is zero disclosures about it. And it's a narrative warfare. Right? One day somebody's going to talk about this. Other day, a competing side is going to pay somebody else to talk about that.
Yeah.
And in the end, who is being influenced? The
Yeah.
people. And
Yeah.
in the end, what are we doing? We are polarizing people with two extreme opinions.
Yeah.
It's never a good idea.
Mm.
What is news? News is supposed to be about what? It's basically that this happened in Delhi, dot. Full stop, period. News is not this happened in Delhi, what the heck is the government doing? Is it? News is supposed to be one simple thing. This is what happened. We have told you. Now it's your job to apply the brains and build your opinions. What happens today is people are already seeding the opinions. And when you don't know whether this has been paid for by somebody, that becomes a problem.
But do you really see the algorithms as neutral infrastructure?
Depends from platform to platform actually, plus time to time.
Yeah.
I personally believe, it's my personal belief, I have no proof for it, that platforms work for the ruling party. So, for example, until Trump came in, right? Meta's platforms were actively suppressing, and it's publicly known that it was actively suppressing pro-Trump content. And suddenly, when basically, you know, Trump actually wins the race and becomes a president, it's a very different meta. That's just one example. But I have serious belief that platforms work for the ruling party. So you have to comply. Because, again, not to blame the platforms.
So they are an active force, therefore, and what content is reaching the masses? Because distribution is under their...
Absolutely.
Also want to ask you what success would look like for you as a individual content creator, say a decade out, and how do you see the industry evolving, and how should we all, even as investors excited and interested in new media, how do you think we should crystal ball gaze into the new media industry over the next decade?
I think new media is the hot space. And, you know, somebody who solves for the, you know, ethics or transparency in this entire ecosystem is going to be massive. Because that's going to be the new novelty of time. So, for example, you know, first it was the influencer wave. Then with Revan Himanseka, amazing impact that he's created, right? Across different ages, tiers, towns, etc. He basically introduced the de-influencing wave. I sort of fall into the same bracket, de-influencing wave, practically. Now, beyond this, because de-influencing now, people don't know which one is de-influencing for the right reasons and if somebody has been paid. Now comes the third layer, you know, the transparency thing. So that is something we solve for. And I think that's a big opportunity. If somebody can actually do it, I don't know how that's to be done, but if something can be done, it's going to be massive. So that's the new big opportunity out there. I hope somebody really works on this one. So that is one. But nonetheless, this market is going to balloon like crazy. And I'm very clear about one thing, right? People who have money or power, if they had solid control over the traditional media, they would also want to, you know, establish control over new media. That's already happening. And it's never going to slow down. It's only going to strengthen. So the ecosystem is very, very exciting one. A lot is happening out here. Do track it, left, right, center, top, bottom, in every possible manner. Build things around it. It's going to be a massive market, no doubts about it.
Awesome, Jayant. On that note, I want to firstly wish you all the very best, onward and upwards, and more power and grace to you. Keep doing the good work, and like you rightly said, keeping us all not just educated but curious. And on that note, thank you once again so much for joining us, and I had a great time chatting with you today. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being so kind and so sweet. I'm really grateful.
Awesome. Thanks, Jayant.